Hi, welcome to the Quickstart Guide for Staffing Firms. And what we're going to talk about today is getting your first employee set up to submit timesheets. There are 4 steps to the process we're going to take a look at. First is to create a consultant, then a client supervisor, and last contract. So without further ado, let's open up Tempus and see how to do this. This is the Tempus homepage. We're going to click the member login link, and we're going to log in to Tempus using the ID and the password that was emailed to us after we signed up for trial use for Tempus. So this is the Tempus landing page. There are a couple things I want to point out to you here before we actually get started creating our data. First thing is your member record. This was created when you signed up for trial use. A couple of items we want to make sure we've got correct here. That is the time zone. And you can set your language and culture. I'm going to leave mine at US English, of course. Second thing I want to point out is the links section here. These are links to documentation for Tempus, and the first item on that list is the Vendor Quickstart Guide. This essentially presents the same information that I'm going over in this video today. And when you start entering your first consultant users and contracts, I'd suggest that you open this up on your desktop and use it as a guide to creating your first couple of data records. So let's get started creating data. First thing we're going to do is create a consultant. We open up the Work with Users panel, click New to create a new record. We're going to create Connie. This is the roles. Drop down. Of course, we have a number of different roles, but we're going to create a consultant here. I might point out that the required fields are marked with a red asterisk on this panel and all the others in Tempus. We'll create a new user ID for this user. This is just something arbitrary. We can make that anything we want. Also the password and the email address. And that's it. We've created our first consultant. The next thing we're going to do is create our first client. So we'll click Clients here. Same as the consultant, we'll click New on the Work with Clients panel, and we'll start entering our client data. We can assign any number we want to this client. Something to help us find our client. Enter the company name. If I'm going to have a client, I want it to be a big one, so we'll call this Big Client. The rest of this information is optional. I'm going to put in a contact name. And we're done. We've created our first client. Next thing we're going to do is create a new supervisor. Supervisors, client supervisors, are people that work for your clients. They are the people that will approve timesheets for your employees. So we choose our client name, and then we click New, and we start entering information for the supervisor. Email address is important. We want to make sure we get this right. Timesheets are going to be submitted via email to this email address. So we want to make sure we get that one right. And we're going to say choose a arbitrary ID for Sally, a password, and we're done creating the supervisor. Close this up. The last thing we're going to do is create a new contract. That's our last new record. Contracts are the place where we record all of the information about a specific consultant's assignment. So we'll create a new contract for Connie, and We'll choose the client. We'll choose our supervisor from the list of supervisors for that client. We only have one consultant, so that's easy. We're not using branch offices or sales reps yet. We'll choose the start day for the work week. This is Monday. This is usually the day that the timesheets are due. And I'm going to change the maximum hours per week. Effective date is important. We need to get this as close as possible to the consultant's actual start date. As long as it's within the week that the consultant starts, we're probably in good shape. The closer we can get it to the actual start date, the better when it comes to filling out new timesheets. Information here is optional. We can put in a project name, a PO number, something of that nature. We can set the time zone if we need to, if it's different from the home office time zone. And that's all we have to do to create the contract. I'm going to modify this contract a little bit, and I'm going to add some costs, and I could also add commission amounts here, but we'll choose our consultant and contract. And we don't have any sales reps, any commissionable people, so we won't fill that out. We'll put in our payroll cost here. This is what we're going to pay our consultant for each hour of work. In the U.S., in cost of goods sold, we generally will enter insurance costs and employee benefits, things like that. This is the rate that we're going to bill our client right there. In here we can put expenses, other expenses if we have them. In this case we don't, so I'm just going to click OK. And we are done. The consultant is ready to log in and enter his first timesheet. The supervisor is all set up to approve the timesheet, and you're ready to start monitoring the process from your office. I hope you decide to give Tempus a good workout here. As you can see, you can enter all the data you need for a 3 or 4 consultant trial in 15 minutes or so. Thank you for viewing today. I hope you liked the product.